This is a primary source reading, Glimpses of the Kingdom of Ghana, written in 1067 CE. Al-Bakir, a Spanish Muslim traveler of the 11th century. The city of Ghana consists of two towns situated on a plain. One of these towns, which is inhabited by Muslims, is large and possesses 12 mosques, in which they assemble for the Friday prayer. There are salaried imams and muezzins, as well as jurists and scholars. In the environs are wells with sweet water, from which they drink and which they grow vegetables. The king's town is 6 miles distant from this one. Between these two towns are continuous habitations. In the king's town and not far from his court of justice is a mosque where Muslims who arrive at his court to pray. Around the king's town are domed pavilions and groves and thickets where sorcerers of these people, men in charge of the religious cult, live. In them too are their idols and tombs of their kings. These woods are guarded, and none may enter them and know what is there. The king's interpreters, the official in charge of his treasury, and the majority of his ministers are Muslims. Among the people who follow the king's religion, only he and his heir apparent, who is the son of his sister, may wear sewn clothes. All other people wear robes of cotton, sil, or brocade according to their means. All of them shave their beards, and women shave their heads. The king adorns himself like a woman, wearing necklaces around his neck and bracelets on his forearms. And he puts a high cap decorated with gold and wrapped in a turban of fine cotton, and he sits in audience to hear grievances against officials in a domed pavilion, around which stand 10 horses covered with gold embroidered materials. Behind the king stand 10 pages holding shields and swords decorated with gold, and on his right hand are the sons of the vassal kings of his country, wearing splendid garments and their hair plaited with gold. The governor of the city sits on the ground before the king, and around him are ministers seated likewise. At the door of the pavilion are dogs of excellent pedigree who hardly ever leave the place where the king is guarding him. Round their necks they wear collars of gold and silver studded with a number of balls of the same metals. The audience is announced by the beating of a drum, which they call duba, made of a long hollow log. When people who profess the same religion as the king approach him, they fall on their knees and sprinkle dust on their head, for this is their way of greeting him. As for the Muslims, they greet him only by the clapping of their hands. Their religion is paganism and the worship of idols. On every donkey load of salt, when it is brought into the country, their king levies 1 gold dinar and 2 dinars when it is sent out. The best gold is found in his land comes from the town of Giaru, which is 18 days traveling distance from the king's own town over a country inhabited by tribes of the Sudan whose dwellings are continuous. The king of Ghana, when he calls up his army, he can put 200,000 men into the field, more than 40,000 of them.